All right, hopefully I will be live any moment here.
Okay, here he is. Let's welcome Link Ray.
My wife even
All right, that was Link Ray. We are here, 100 hours of reasons to not support Autism Speaks. And we're going to. Yesterday, we started looking at the news. I'm going to refresh this here. Autism Speaks, I would expect, should be in the news here quite a bit. Actually, I'm going to put. Past hour. Okay. Let's see if anything lasts. Okay. So this will be our first story we're going to look at. And excuse me. What we're going to be looking at here is what is the tone? This is from News 12, New Jersey. I don't know exactly what that is, but obviously it's New Jersey, New York area. Some kind of news outlet. It's probably some like huge one or something. But anyway, what we want to look at is what is their perception of Autism Speaks. Now, Autism Speaks is a nonprofit organization, and it's run like a corporation. Basically, it is, and as such, it is a profit-oriented organization. It started out to try to cure autism, and when they found out that that wasn't possible, and there was a lot of backlash from the autistic community, etc., um, they have now taken back that, or they say that they are no longer want to cure autism and that they do not believe it's a disease. However, their site has always been framed um, as if it is a disease. Now, just here at the very beginning of April, they started to use some identity first language. That's a like an autistic person or an autistic, as opposed to person first language and or excuse me, yeah, person first. So they what they want to say, I'm getting myself confused here. What they want to say is a person with autism. They want identity first. Is that right? Oh no, no. Yeah, they want person first. That's a person with autism. So they want to separate the person, George or whatever here, from the autism, or someone with autism, and you could say someone with cancer, but you wouldn't say a cancer, or an autistic. The reason is we are simply a different brain type. We're a different human. Some people have blonde hair. Some people have light skin. Some people are born with an amputee or whatever. Some people have an extra finger. Whatever. We're all people. Um, but this is a normal brain type, just like people with red hair. If you ever see a redhead, unless you're in one of those Asian countries over there, um, Asians make up 1% of the world's population. So essentially, whenever you see a redhead, whenever you've run into a redhead, you've run into an autistic person. There are that many of us around, or we're that rare if you want to look at it that way. And our the reason we're simply a different brain type is it's because of how our brain was formed when we were in our mother's womb, when we were a fetus. It shaped, formed, whatever you want to call it, differently from a neurotypical brain. And so that is why we are autistic. So it's not like a disease or something we caught or something that you could get from the vaccines there. It's something. It's you're born light skinned or dark skinned or whatever. It's just one of those things. It's a trait. It really is. Bottom line, it is a normal human trait. Now, having these traits can have bring some very big challenges uh, in these times, and there's some great things about our minds also. But let's start with the Autism Speaks. First, let's look at this nice white page here. Um, Hopefully, they're going to get on this. I know they watch me. You would think that, being that they are an organization called Autism Speaks, they would know that autistic people have light sensitivities. In fact, let me turn this light on. Ugh, I have all this light in my face. I so hate it. But you really have to do that or the cameras will not work for you. But you would think an organization named Autism Speaks would know that autistic people tend to be very light sensitive. You would think. And they wouldn't have all these pages of just white pages that really hurt us. Now, I'm going to click off this. What's important about that is when you are an organization called Autism Speaks and you are so disconnected from autistic people that your website has those bright white pages that hurt autistic people, that they're that disconnected, that they've been around since 2004 and nobody's ever said anything. Nobody's ever noticed? I thought this was supposed to be autistic people. We're very observant. There is a huge disconnect between Autism Speaks and the autistic community, the actually autistic community. They do not represent the actually autistic community. They are actually hated by much of the autistic community. But as an autistic ADHD person, I just went down a rabbit hole. So, I don't know what this is. Hopefully I have some sound here. Let's see. Here we are.
It is Autism Awareness Month, and we're seeing checks being written around the state for that cause. A $45,000 check was presented.
Okay, so the thing is this. I'm going to set this up a little bit. I guarantee you that these are probably good intentioned people here. I may have even seen a story about this before. I don't know. This looked like a grocery store. The other one was like a nursery or something. But so you have these good intentioned people. Maybe they want to make their business look good, or they actually do care and do want to contribute. Or maybe they've got a cousin that's autistic, child, whatever. And so they want to do something good. So there's this charity called Autism Speaks. I mean, the only charity you ever even hear of when you think of autistic people. So they go donate, and they get a little publicity here and make a nice donation, and the boom. And so they give $50,000 or whatever it is, expecting that money to go directly to helping autistic people. But instead, like last year, there was 39 million, 36 million, 39 million, somewhere in there. That was their net. And only about $400,000 it was, I believe. Is a little over $400,000 that went directly to actually autistic families. It was earmarked for actually autistic families. So these people are expecting all this money to go towards that, and there are millions and millions of dollars that they pay out in bonuses. Millions and millions and millions of dollars going to scientific research, which for Autism Speaks is the worst thing they could possibly do. Of course, the reason for this is they started out trying to get rid of autistic people, trying to cure autistic people. So let's take and when they tried to cure autism and so forth, that was by definition genocide, which we'll get into later. But here's some good folks, and let's see how the tone of the story goes.
Presented at the ShopRite in Old Bridge, the owners of the store, the Sumas family, with a generous donation to Autism Speaks. They also had a table set up where they were selling salads made at the Three Meadows Farm in Bedminster. The people who grow the produce there and harvest the fields are young adults with autism. Paradise Salad now being sold at ShopRite stores around New Jersey.
Okay, so that might be tied. Yeah, I think this is tied to that thing. So I wasn't aware that they're autistic. What did he say? That it was
young adults with autism. Paradise Salad.
Young adults with autism. So, when you say with autism, unfortunately, it does frame it as a disease. And on Autism Speaks, and just until the April 1st or the end of March here, they always said, they said autistic people. They never used identity first language. This entire site has always framed autism as a disease. And so what I did to show that was I would read this and plug in the word cancer, and it'd be people with cancer this, people with cancer that, and everything else, and it was just framed as a disease. But now it's a lot harder to read that way, because just with that little bit of language change. Some cancer people can speak. See what I'm saying? You wouldn't say that, but you could say some people with cancer, which is how they had it written before. Very, very interesting that they changed that. I am pretty sure that they did change that because of me, and I thank them for that, because they are my most faithful viewer. Yes, that is the truth. All right, so this did come down to that story. Let's see how much they go into the is and I want to look at how the story is framed. Is the story going to be about autistic people, or is it going to be about Autism Speaks? Now, Autism Speaks always frames it, has always framed it so that it is about Autism Speaks, not about autistic people. And that's extremely important because when it's about Autism Speaks, when people think of autism, they think of Autism Speaks and they go give money to Autism Speaks, thinking they're helping autistic people, when that's really one of the worst things that could be done. They started out trying to commit genocide, trying to eliminate all autistic people from the world. Now, the premise was they wanted to cure autism, but the thing is as I said, it is a brain type. It's a normal brain type. Like a redhead is a normal hair type. It's just a normal type. It is different, and we do have challenges in the world today, and it can be a great disability. But we are still a normal type of human that's been around all this time, and most of our greatest inventors of all time, our greatest scientists of all time, have been autistic. So it's an extremely important brain type to have in humankind. So if you were to cure autism so that no one was ever born autistic, and you were to make me cure me, then you would have to change my brain. You would have to, like with DNA, change my brain and make it different. It would be like curing a Dalmatian of being a Dalmatian by making it a German Shepherd. If you could give a Dalmatian a shot and make it turn into a German Shepherd, then it would no longer be a Dalmatian, and I would no longer be me. And so that's why a cure for autism is genocide. Literally, you're exterminating a type of human being, like say a white people or something. So that's not where you want to go. And most autistic people, I don't even know one autistic person that I think I don't know one. I've never known an autistic person that wanted to be cured. And they may be out there. Don't get me wrong. They're, I don't know, but we want to be who we are, and we want to be accepted for who we are, and I don't think that's too much to ask. Just love people. So let's see how this is framed. Jersey proud owners of Old Bridge ShopRite donate $45,000 to Autism Speaks. So it's to Autism Speaks. That's the subject here. A $45,000 check was presented to ShopRite, or presented at the ShopRite Old Bridge by the Simmons family. Okay, April is Autism Acceptance Month. Checks are being written all over the state for the cause. Where are those checks going to? The majority of those checks, almost all of them, maybe all of them, are not going directly to autistic people to help autistic families. They're going to the multi-million-dollar bonuses that the executives at Autism Speaks get. They are going somehow to a organization. Are we going to go to Open Secrets? Is that where we're going to go to? Yeah. To an organization that somehow is tied up with lobbying and contributions that are being given to the National Republican Committee, whose purpose is to get Republicans elected into the House of Representatives. That's their sole purpose, and it is right here. National Republican Congressional Committee is a political committee devoted to increasing the number of Republicans in the House of Representatives. And that's right here, $132,000. They only gave $1,300 to the Democrat Party here. And now, to be fair, this we're gonna talk about the technical stuff, and then we're gonna talk about the real world. Technically, note, the organization itself did not donate. Rather, the money came from the organization's individual members, employees, or owners, and those individuals' immediate family members. So, like the CEO, what happens in these corporations is their wife will give $50,000 because, I don't know, it was like rolling around in her purse there, and so that $50,000 was just rolling around in her purse, and it was taking up too much room. So she's like, oh, I guess I'll give it to I will give it to the National Republican Congressional Committee to get Republicans elected in the House of Representatives in the name of Autism Speaks. So what this is about rich people giving favors, and the CEO or the wife, that family, are going to get paid back. Don't you have no doubts. That money's going to come back somewhere, and it may come back better. And what happens is, my father was a corporate executive. He was a Texas oil man. Okay, so what happens is, let's see, we're going to have meet our partners. Boom. Okay, so the executives of these companies here, they all get together and everything else, and wham here. Okay, and I'm this is hypothetical. I do not know that this is true. I'm just saying this is how things work. Okay, so Wang here gets together with the CEO of Autism Speaks, which is right here. This is Keith Wargo. He sent me an email. This is why we're talking about this whole thing. About us. Oh yeah, that's where it is. What? No, about us. Leadership. There we go. Here's Keith Wargo. Okay, so he's the CEO. So he gets together with these guys at whatever tech here, and they're having beers at their kitchen table, and they make some kind of big deal, and they're like, you know what? It's going to look really good for us to be seen given to this charity or whatever. We really want to help you out or whatever. And then maybe on, not directly on their merchandise, but maybe on their packaging, or maybe on the external paper, there's little stickers somewhere, whatever, that says something about Autism Speaks. So now this makes this company, whatever, just look great. Like, you know, they're giving back to the community or whatever, and they're not really the Chinese corporation that everybody hates, or the whatever, you know. And that'll change as the politics change. Maybe the Chinese will be wonderful next week. So that's kind of how this works. But these are favors going back and forth. And a lot of times, when you have these big donations and so forth from these lobbyists, where was that whole lobbying thing? Do I got that still pulled up here? Yeah, it's Open Secrets right here. So here we have at least $1 million that is, well, $500,000, about $500,000 is donated in lobbying and contributions directly to the DNC, or the RNC here. Well, the National Republican Congressional Committee, $132,000. So what is going on here? And then you can see where they gave small donations to these other candidates for whatever reason. There may be, this candidate may put I support Autism Speaks on all of his stuff or whatever or something, and so they gave him the small donation or whatever, and so the candidate gets a donation, and the kickback is there's a little bit of advertising for Autism Speaks kind of thing. I mean, I don't know that that's how I need these, but it's that kind of deal. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Now, a lot of this, why they're involved particularly with politicians, is they want to get involved with the lawmaking. So basically, the CEO's here job would be, and this is hypothetical, okay? Okay, I actually had a small business myself, but I saw I grew up around the corporate world and saw the background stuff when I was a kid. The stuff that the like CEOs, or what happens in their lives. Because I was just this little kid, I a little autistic kid, right? Anyway, so his job is to essentially get these politicians in his pocket so they write bills for grants and so forth, or for laws that are specifically tailored or written so that maybe only Autism Speaks fits the criteria to be able to get that grant. Okay, and I'm not saying this is what they're doing, but this is hypothetical. Okay, this is hypothetically, but this is essentially how it works. Okay, and I don't know that it may not work like it used to, but it's just, that kind of thing. And so that's why when you start getting into the financials, which, let's see, is that okay? Yeah, when you get into the financials here, and we're gonna go. This is 2023 filing, and this is about right down. Is it here? Oh, here's some of the salaries. Okay, here's our salaries right here. $627,000. Yeah, only. About $400,000 went to directly to autistic families, and he got a $450,000 bonus or something, or pretty close, or maybe it was more than that. But he got more in a bonus. If I remember right, he got more in a bonus than that $400,000. He got a little bit. It was a little bit more than they actually gave out to actually autistic people. Or it was right there. It was right about $400,000. But yeah, he's getting in. That was his expense account. So his expenses account is also. I know his expense account was right at $400,000, and in the what they gave out to actually autistic families, what was earmarked to go directly to autistic families, was about $400,000. So, yeah, that was his expense account. That's when he gets to wine and dine. And so that's the other thing. And those expense accounts and stuff, what they'll do is they're going to get a politician or someone in, I don't know, another businessman that has a lot of influence and so forth with politicians, and maybe they want to get their help, or to get introduced to a politician or whatever. So they'll get together and they'll go out to dinner, and have a bunch of beers and so forth. And I'm talking. This is like the CEOs and stuff. It's funny. This is how they do stuff, or at least how they did when I was a kid. So they go out and have their beers and everything, and have the little autistic kid running around the house, staying hidden and not saying a word. Yeah, I had silence beat into me. So yeah, this is what basically what he's getting. Sort of. This, like, here's some bonuses and stuff, but that's not all the bonuses. I don't think there's a lot more. It gets up to, I think up to almost $500,000 in bonuses too, for him. I thought it was like maybe it's 350. I don't know. He got a pretty big whopper of bonuses too, and then of course that $400,000 bank or $400,000 expense account plus. I'm trying to. Why do I not ever find Eileen Lamb? Why does she never show up in these things? Why? Okay, so we're gonna go down to oh, I guess I went too far. Well, okay, here we go. All the grants. Almost near the end here. So Autism Speaks is giving all this money, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars here in science grants. But actually, I was going to go. Well, I'm skipping all over the place now. Okay. I want to talk about these science grants real quick from the schedule. Here's millions and millions and millions of dollars that Autism Speaks is donating to science. Now, considering the fact that their premise, the reason they were formed was to cure autism, was to make autistic people extinct. There's no going back from that. That is, by definition, genocide. There's no going back from that. So from now on, if they do give any money to science for research, no one's ever going to trust them. It would be like the Nazi Party saying that they wanted to represent Jewish people and that they were gonna they were doing science for Jewish people. You know, come on, no. Or the KKK saying that they represent the black people. Ridiculous. And so to continue to do all this science stuff is a slap in the face of autistic people. If they cared about autistic people, they would actually dissolve rather than do anything else, because there's no recovering from genocide. I mean, there's no recovering from genocide. You just are not going to recover from that. It's not going to happen. And then to have the audacity to keep on doing this science research for early detection and so forth, and intervention, whatever. No! If they did want to stay as an organization and they had any integrity whatsoever, then they would stop giving to any of these science, anything that resembled the science, and go directly to services for autistic people. Why is that not happening? Why is all this money going to the science grant and it's not going directly towards autistic people? Just saying. Okay, so let's go back here. So we're gonna go back to I'm gonna reel back here now. Let's see, we got this up. I don't need that up right now. All right. So I want to look at the tone here and see what their tone is, because unfortunately, because Speaks has set the tone and invested so much so that its name is always associated with Autism Speaks. When people think of autism, they think directly of Autism Speaks instead of autistic people. And Autism Speaks perpetuates that. And I want to see how the perception is from random people in the news. So this is what we're looking at. So this we're finishing up with this New Jersey story here of this family that owned a grocery store, gave some money to Autism Speaks. This one's new. AOL.com? What is that? Okay, AOI, or I don't know what this is. They said it had something to do with autism, so I want to make sure that our Autism Speaks. I think it did. Okay, maybe that doesn't have anything to do with Autism Speaks. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh. This isn't saying anything about Autism Speaks, but oh, that's awful. Oh, that's awful. That is so awful. Where to watch it? How are we going to do Eclipse? Okay, we need to go, I guess, past week. Jeez. That's not mentioning. That's interesting. That might be cool if they're not being mentioned here. I don't care. Get out of here. Okay, if we're getting too many pop-ups, I am not doing this. Nope, not doing it. Wow, some of those. Let's see. New York Autism Awareness Speak. Autism Speaks. Okay, here's a Autism Speaks story. Now, what we want to do is we want to look at the tone here of this article, and we want to see if Autism Speaks, how successful they have been. Will the subject be Autism Speaks, who happens to be my most favorite or faithful viewers? Is it going to be about Autism Speaks, or is it going to be about autistic people? So, and these are just random news stories from the internet. So this is from wate.com, WATE.com. I don't know. Let's see. This is World Autism Awareness Day. So this was the second. Autism Speaks. Okay. So Autism Speaks is going to be the subject of this one right off the bat. Is announcing the launch. And see, this is the thing. Autism Speaks always makes it about Autism Speaks, not autistic people. And even when they say they make it about autistic people, they don't. And we'll talk about this in this very sentence. Watch this. I just saw it with the corner of my eye there. Autism Speaks is announcing launch of its newly established Champions of Change program. Now, what this is 5 people, 4 of which are autistic. They are all ABA, Autism Speaks people. They were all early diagnosed, all went through ABA. We're all brainwashed into ABA. We're all went through that cult. And so they all love Autism Speaks. And they are not part of the actually autistic community. They're part of the autism mom community. Now, what is so weird about this autistic community is there are actually, in fact, 2 very, very separate communities in the autistic. And what that is, see if I can get my camera set right. Um, you have the actually autistic community. That is made up of actually autistic people and people who support us. And then you have the autism moms community, which is basically people who are parents of autistic children, neurotypical parents of autistic children. People who do not have autism are not autistic, and their children are autistic. Okay, so yeah, they're still getting me saying people with autism sometimes. And so with this group, you get the ABA people, the practitioners and so forth, and the Autism Speaks people. That's one crowd, and then you have the actually autistic crowd. And unfortunately, the ABA and Autism Speaks, they fit into the cult category, according to the BITE model of authoritarian control by Stephen Hassan, Dr. Stephen Hassan. So, this Champions of Change program that is supposed to represent actually autistic people has four autistic people. They are actually autistic, but they're not from the actually autistic community. They don't represent the actually autistic community. They represent a very, very, very small slice of autistic people who have been brainwashed into thinking ABA cured them, essentially, or changed their lives. When most of the people who have been through ABA consider it, or walk out with PTSD or CPTSD and lifelong trauma from the therapy. But unfortunately, these people were brainwashed enough to believe that it actually helped them. It's a real shame. People are going to think, this guy is so radical. I was in a cult, and I helped people get out of cults for about 10 years. I used to be known as compelled unbeliever, and so that's why I know about the whole cult thing. And I also was in a pyramid scheme cult, so yeah. So, Autism Speaks is announcing the launch of its newly established Champions of Change program, introducing an inaugural class of 5 autistic advocates and spokespeople from around the country with a wide range of experiences, support needs, and connections to autism. Let's see. To launch the program, part of Autism Speaks, celebration of World Autism Month. See, and it's Autism Speaks, celebrating World Autism Month, not autistic people. See, we're not the subject, and this is something that Autism Speaks propagates. They want it this way. They push it this way. When they give it, when they send out their media inquiries or whatever, and I have not seen this personally, but I can tell by the way these articles are written, because they use a lot of the language directly from Autism Speaks. And they're supposed to. I mean, they ask Autism Speaks and they say, they give them a statement or whatever, and so they take the parts from that statement. It's not cutting and pasting. It's basically quoting literally what Autism Speaks is saying. So you see the same things pasted basically over and over and over. And like I said, that's good reporting, is word for word what Autism Speaks is wanting them to say. It's actually their statement. So, and then they'll kind of add their whatever, apply it to whatever, their particular thing is. Autism Speaks. Champions of Change will serve as messengers. Now, one is a professor, and she's an autism mom. That's the 5th panel member. And the funny thing is in the one article that I read yesterday, they're talking about the champions of change just like this, and they get those blurbs from Autism Speaks, and instead of having one of these champions of change people, one of the autistic people that's supposed to represent autistic people that don't actually, and he spoke instead of them. He was quoted. Like they didn't even have the thought to have the actually autistic people be quoted on what they're doing. Nope, this is what we're doing for them artistic people right there. Yep, that's what we're doing. And that's what a lot of autistic people have. The problem we have with Autism Speaks is they want to speak instead of us, and how this all becomes framed. Okay, so I'm going to try to finish reading a sentence. One of these days, I will be able to read like 2 sentences, like in a row. Autism Speaks, champion of change, will serve as messengers, advocates, allies, and advisors for the non-profit organization. Mm-hmm. Okay. Come on, this is annoying me. Okay, my mouse is getting stuck there. So, allies and advisors for the nonprofit organization and to the will serve as messengers, advocates, allies, and advisors for Autism Speaks and the autistic community at large. Okay, now when they say autistic community here, they're talking about the Autism Mom community, the Autism Speaks community here. So basically, they're saying that these 4 autistic people who don't represent the actually autistic people overall by any means, not even close to the majority of people do not agree with these people right here. The vast majority of autistic people, actually autistic people, do not agree with this small percentage of autistic people who Autism Speaks is saying right here that they want to be messengers, advocates, allies, and advisors for Autism Speaks and to the autistic community. So that's that circle going back. That's when they say the autistic community, they're talking about them. They're not talking about real autistics. Help steer the future of the organization. Along Autism Speaks, the champions stand fearlessly for a world where autistic people are recognized, valued, celebrated, and afforded opportunities they deserve. Okay, that doesn't sound bad. Now this right here, this autistic people, this is great, and I'm seeing this. It was like around the 31st of March, right before they changed on the website because of me, I'm pretty sure. A lot of the language, they would always say people with autism, people with autism, people with autism. And they would say that because they would say that excuse me, because of the way it frames it as if it's a disease. They wanted to separate autism from the person, as if it was separate from the person, and it's our brain. It's who we are. Okay, we're going to see. Oh, boy. Here it goes. Yep, this is the same quote. This is the same one I saw yesterday. Just a different... or maybe this is the same thing I looked at. Or this is the whole thing's cut and pasted, but this is what I was talking about. It takes courage to share the very personal journey and advocate for one's needs. Our champions of change embody the spirit of fearlessness represented in the wide range of stories from autistic people, caregivers, and allies who make up our community, said Keith Wargo, Autism Speaks President and Executive Chief Officer. We are proud to amplify the voices of these advocates as they will play a vital role in creating an inclusive and accepting world for those living with autism by bringing to light the real needs of the community. So here we're talking about the champions of change, and what we're getting is Keith Wargo speaking instead of them. This whole article is about these autistic people who are speaking, who are going to represent autistic people up here. Right? So what's going on here? And then let's see, show solidarity and support for Autism Speaks. Not autistic people. And the thing is Autism Speaks should be correcting them and saying, no, this is about autistic people, not us. This is about autistic people, not us. New York's Empire State Building will shine the Spectrum colors on April 2nd to mark World Autism Awareness Day and celebrate the diverse autism community. And then we go into about Autism Speaks, not about autistic people. This does not normalize autistic people. This is not helpful. Not helpful at all. All right, it's time to take a quick...
An Asian spice that you should eat before going to bed with a girl.
Whoa,
it can turn you into
whoa,
a raging
bull.
Okay,
whoa,
here he
is. This is a G-rated show here. What the heck? Holy hell. Okay, let's thank our most favorite viewer, Autism Speaks, and I will take a quick break.
Let's welcome Link Ray.
This is Link Gray, the legend. Okay, so I was talking about how this is characterized. And according to Autism Speaks, so Autism Speaks is the subject here. A nonprofit organization that works to enhance the lives of autistic individuals. So, it's about Autism Speaks, and it's a nonprofit organization that works to enhance the lives of autistic individuals. No. I'm an actually autistic person, and I would not categorize it that way at all. I would categorize it as a cult. I would categorize it as a terrorist organization. I would categorize it as a profit-oriented organization that is meant to siphon money off of the good intent of people who want to contribute directly to autistic people and take that money instead and go buy their Porsches with their multi-million dollar bonuses, when they only give about $400,000 to actually autistic families. $39 million they raised, and less than $500,000 of that went to autistic people. It was created it was created to to cure autistic people. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. The organization also reports people with autism can also face unnecessary obstacles to secure employment and healthcare. We're going to go back to Link Ray for a moment. No, we're not. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. However, there are also barriers when it comes to law enforcement. Oh, wow. This is the first time I've seen that ever mentioned. Huh. And we'll get into this later. Talking about autistic adults having interactions with police and law enforcement are at a 7% higher risk than the public population? Than the public population? Than the public population? Who's the unpublic population? Is there an unpublic, a non-public population? Oh, okay, I better stop. No, of course. Okay. Lieutenant Summers. Okay, so we got a cop. Participant Walk gave us a very personal reason. Okay, or I hope this doesn't turn into inspiration porn. Gave us a very personal reason as to why he could not. He had not only joined the walk. It's a dude. But wants to bring awareness to autism as well. Me and my wife's youngest child is autistic, Somers said. We want to help others become aware so that we can help instead of harm. When we interact with the children or individuals with ASD, that's what we're going to do right there, okay? Because we're the law enforcement and we're interacting with them children that are with their autistics. I shouldn't be making fun of this guy. Okay, so okay. Okay, we're gonna go back. Okay, I'm gonna refresh this. So what I'm looking for is stories on Autism Speaks, specifically. Actually, I'm kind of glad. What is it now? The 5th? 6th? I am finding far fewer stories on the internet about Autism Speaks than I ever thought I would. I really am. I am surprised. Oh wait, we gotta fix this here. Nope, that's not where I want to go. I am having some technical difficulties right now. Okay, we gotta get this all balanced out and everything. Alright, there we go. Okay. Let's see how this looks here. Oh, come on, we got it. Thank you, Autism Speaks, my most favorite, my most faithful viewer. Let's see how this looks here. Oh my goodness. Maybe I'll make this a little bit small. Whoops, I'm bringing down the whole thing now. Alright, so. There we go, finally. Alright. What is this story? Is this going to be Autism Speaks News? I am going to... Why am I not getting... I'm not getting much news from Autism Speaks here. Okay, so here, I got something. Actually, you know what? We got some. Let's see what this is.
To be free and
now, what I want to look for in these is I have no idea. I have this just popping up, but what I want to see is what is the tone. Is it about Autism Speaks or is it about autistic people?
flexible and creative was really essential to what I wanted to make, and I didn't find a platform that did that.
It is World Autism Day, a time to spread awareness around a life-changing condition. According to the CDC, around 1 in every 36 kids in the United States have been diagnosed with autism. And today we are reminded about why it's so important to get an accurate diagnosis.
Now with Autism Speaks, now this is really cool. Maybe they're not going to go straight into Autism Speaks. This is great. But Autism Speaks always wants to tie itself to autistic people, to be considered the source of knowledge of understanding for autistic people, yet they never qualify autistic people as having any relevance whatsoever to it or anything else.
Knowing that that's coming from a neurodevelopmental disorder can really help them to better understand themselves and better navigate the world and advocate for what they need.
ASD can be found among all races, ethnicities, and socioeconomic groups. The latest numbers from the CDC say around 5 million adults in the United States have ASD. So joining us today to help us understand a bit more about this diagnosis is the owner of Spirited Play Labs, Lindsay Teitelbaum. Lindsay, good morning.
That's interesting.
Can you tell us?
Hi, good morning, Matt.
I'm actually very impressed that they didn't go straight to Autism Speaks. Maybe they couldn't get a hold of them. Who knows?
Thanks for being with us. Can you tell us a little bit more about your work at Spirited Play and break down why it's so important to spread autism awareness?
Sure. So
I can almost guarantee this is going to be like an ABA person.
I'm a speech therapist, and I opened Spirited Play Labs about 2.5 years ago. We're located in San Ramon in Berkeley, and the space is for families to be able to de-stress. Having an autistic child can be very stressful and be very isolating. So the intention is for the community to come together to support not only the child, but also the parent. That's done through play and building relationship with one another. Like you said, there's a lot of misconceptions about autism and how it looks in children and their behaviors. So it's important that they have a very safe space so that they are understood and they can.
Okay, she's thrown down the behaviors word. But so far, other than that, it sounds good.
Build positive relationships.
So Lindsay, what are some of those general misconceptions about autism and how do we combat them?
Sure. So some misconceptions are that these children are having bad behaviors on purpose.
Okay, and some of them that we're all children. We make up the same percentage of adults as basically everybody else. I mean, we turn 18. You know? We turn 18. We become adults, but it's always thought of children. And once kids turn 18, then they're abandoned pretty much by the entire system.
That they need more discipline in order to change and grow. And often they are misunderstood as having no interest in building friendships or relationships. And so the best way to combat these things is to.
Okay, this is very cool. This gal is making actually about the kids here. This is really cool. I like this lady.
Start to know the people in your community who may be autistic and to connect to the parents of those children and even adults. As you see, autism can look very different in different people. So it's really important to build those relationships in your community if you know that a child has autism.
Okay, this sounds like a lady speaking on behalf of autistic people. And this is very, very rare. She is not demeaning us at all. She's literally speaking on our behalf, and I applaud what I'm hearing here so far.
Or even an adult, and start to educate yourself about what that's like.
Lindsay Teitelbaum, thank you so much for.
That was, I applaud. That was amazing. So yes, I am impressed.
Joining us this morning. It sounds like fantastic work that you guys are doing for our community. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Okay.
Wow. They did not mention Autism Speaks at all. I am astounded. I mean, I have looked at hours and hours and hours and hours of this stuff, and that is the first one I can recall. I am so impressed. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we got another one, I think. I was wanting to count down here. Oh, what the heck is going on? I have never seen a gal speak like that before, or neurotypical either. Well, I have, but it is so rare.
Autism Day, and Texas Tech is celebrating by bringing in an.
And now what we're going to see is if they're if this may not be bringing up Autism Speaks either. Let's see.
NCAA Division I college basketball player with autism to talk to students. Anthony Ianni says all of the odds were against him, but he wanted to prove to his coaches and team at Michigan State that he could do it. He is the first.
And one thing about autistic athletes, is a lot of us have dyspraxia or coordination issues. I certainly have all my life. I would say most of us have. And a lot of us or whatever, like I know a gal that she just got her black belt. And another gal, Purple Ella, she, I think she did ballet. And she could barely walk. But she became a dancer. I think Paige Lale actually may have had some coordination issues when she was younger too. I'm not sure, and I'm almost positive she's a dancer. So sometimes you have autistic people that end up basically for coordination issues end up dancing whatever or being really good at it. But for the most part, we have a lot of coordination issues, and you don't see a lot of autistic athletes. So it's really cool when you do.
First player with autism to play in the NCAA.
Okay, she said with autism like it's a disease.
Iani has a degree in sociology and now tours the country, speaking and inspiring others who are on the spectrum that they can do anything they want.
A feeling of, you know, if he could do it, so can I. You know, if this person can do it, why can't I? And, you know, he has autism, I have autism too, and look where he got in life.
Iani helped Michigan State win 2 Big Ten championships during his time playing basketball.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's really cool. I would want to know more, but this is like supposed to be Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks. Okay, well, now it's just coming up with like random videos. I want news. Let's see, Autism Awareness Day. I am very, very impressed here right now that I am not finding a lot. Okay, this one's mentioning Autism Speaks. Damn, that's chilly as hell. All right, I gotta go to the window here. About to freeze my butt off. Okay. So what I want to look here, what I want to do is I want to look at I'm going to go back. And we get a little. Okay, so this is Kansas City, Missouri. So I want to look at. Usually you have good intentioned people or people that have a business and they want to promote the business or show that they care or that they're contributing to the community. Or they're actually very generous people and they want to help autistic people. And so Autism Speaks has connected itself through a huge advertising campaign. God, that hurts to even. How long have I been going now? An hour and in honor of World Autism Day, McDonald's restaurants in the Kansas City metro area are holding a digital fundraiser. All digital sales from apps, in-store kiosk will donate 10% to Autism Speaks, an organization that aims to support their why. All these people that donate to Autism Speaks. So, and now we go right back down here. And we got the same thing. Been going for an hour and a half. I'm getting so tired and so dehydrated. Anyway, so when we look at the end here, of course, this goes right back to Autism Speaks. And that will take us right back to this very... Ouch! Ouch! Okay, I haven't seen this page. This is very white. Ooh. You would think Autism Speaks would know that all this white space, that all this white light hurts autistic people's eyes. Right? Oh, okay. Team Up. I don't know about Team Up. Woo. Okay, this is another one of their pages, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay, so this is what their page actually looks like. Team up with Autism Speaks to create a kinder world for people with autism. Of course, we have with autism. That's because it's a disease. Now, we're going to see if they've changed the wording here. They have gone to some identity first language right before April here. Right like at the 31st or something. They changed a lot of it, which I was glad to see. They still left all this white space, but at least they're listening. Team Up is the Autism Speaks Endurance fundraising program that invites you to challenge yourself. Well, of course, it's a fundraising program. To push your limits and achieve your goals while fueling our mission. Oh, no! No! It goes back to Autism Speaks. It always goes back to Autism Speaks. We're going to fuel our mission. It isn't going to go to autistic people. It's not about autistic people. It's about fueling Autism Speaks mission. It's just... It's so narcissistic. Race, run, or ride, no matter how you team up, your participation empowers us to provide crucial resources, research. Okay, this is a canned thing, pretty much. Advocacy and support to meet urgent needs today and ensure a brighter future tomorrow. Okay, this is kind of a different twist on this, but this is pretty much a paste from Autism Speaks. Team Up, which... Okay, this is an Autism Speaks website, so that makes sense. Okay, Team Up events include the world's most popular races, from 5Ks to marathon cycling. It's weird that I'm getting to know how they, like their double speak or whatever, and how they even... Whenever you're in a cult, you have a certain language, a certain way that you phrase things, and so forth. Just one moment. Okay, now I'm going to pretend like I didn't have some post-nasal drip trying to go on there. Now you're going to be looking at my nose. I'm going to be like this. Be like this. You can't look at my nose to see the post-nasal drip all dripping, and I hope it don't start glazing me right there and dripping, or oh, holy. Anyway, I am so sorry for that. Team Up events include the world's most popular races, 5K marathon cycling adventures. Autism Speaks runs of various distances in local communities. Let's move together towards a kinder, more inclusive world. Okay, I have not heard of that before. This is the About page, I bet. Okay, Team Up is the Autism Speaks Endurance fundraising program that invites you to challenge yourself, push your limits, goals, feeling our mission. Okay, we already... Oh, about Autism Speaks. Okay, we don't care about all that. Interesting. So this is just another one of those things where they say they have a bunch of programs, essentially. Excuse me. And that's what that is. Let's see if this lets us click on anything. No. Yeah, it's so weird. They have all these programs, but they really are like very, very shallow. Very, very shallow programs they have here. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's go back and let's of course thank Autism Speaks for being my most favorite or faithful viewers. Autism Awareness Day. Okay, this is Foster News Daily. Ooh, this is a white page. I'm going to turn on Dark Reader here. Oh, see how that makes it great? See how that changes everything? Wow, that just makes it so nice. I for the first like 35 hours, 40 hours of this, I was watching those white screens, and boy, my eyes are just hurting. They still are. I mean, they are always hurting now from looking at these white screens. So this dark screen really helps. So what we're wanting to look at is how these articles are framed. This is from random articles, so these are random media people. How is the public portrayal? How is their portrayal of autistic people and Autism Speaks? And what is their association with Autism Speaks to autistic people? Do they know that most autistic people hate Autism Speaks and call it from a terrorist group to a cult to and they actually literally started out to commit genocide to the way it sounded was great, to cure autism, but they started pushing science and so forth as far as doing research in genetics or whatever for early intervention, so a child could either be aborted, or if they don't say that, then they may not necessarily want it aborted, but they wanted to give in vitro shots, whatever, and change the DNA so the kids would not be born autistic. The problem is autism is a brain type. Just like a hair color or a skin color or anything else. It's how our brain form is differently from a neurotypical person, and how it works, how it's wired together is just like, it is different. Not a lot of big differences, but they're significant enough. Definitely significant enough that it's noticeable. But it's a normal brain type. We've always been around. As far as we know, we've always been here. Just like redheads. There are just as many redheads as there are autistic people. We don't think of redheads as being different or unusual or whatever, or divergent. No, they're just normal human beings. They're redheads. And that's what we are as autistic. So we want to see if this here is framed that way. If it's Autism Speaks has put a lot of money and a lot of effort into whenever anyone thinks of autism, whenever they think of an autistic person, they immediately think of Autism Speaks, because that way they can funnel that money that's intended to go towards autistic people to that organization itself. And that way they can get their millions and millions of dollars of executive bonuses and only give $500,000. Make 39 net $39 million, and less than $500,000 goes straight to autistic people. So we want to see how successful the Autism Speaks has been in the public, and projecting the idea that Autism speaks for autistic people. And that's what they say in their mission statement, that they want to speak for autistic people, which they shouldn't do at all. Some autistic people say it's speaking over us. No, they want to speak instead of us. And I've shown time and again here, literally, where Keith Wargo has done it, where he was talking about and bragging about his autistic members and how they were going to represent autistic people, and then he spoke instead of them. They weren't even mentioned in the interview or interviewed at all, which I thought was really pathetic, when that was the entire idea of the project, was that autistic people were going to take charge. Instead, he spoke instead of that team he put together. That was so insulting. It really was. Where is this from? FosterFollyNews.com. I am finding so many different articles that I've never seen before. Every April, Autism Speaks celebrates World Autism Month, beginning with, so what's the subject? Autism Speaks. Is it autistic people? No. Is it the autistic community? No. Autism Speaks never mentions the autistic community, the actually autistic community. It never... It's like a narcissist parent. It's always about Autism Speaks. It's never about the autistic. It's always about what Autism Speaks looks like. Autism Speaks always refers back to itself. It never defers to the autistic community. It is not part of the actually autistic community. And most of the actually autistic community hate Autism Speaks. Once again, let's just thank Autism Speaks, my favorite, most faithful viewers. Every April, Autism Speaks celebrates World Autism Month, beginning with the United Nations sanctioned World Autism Awareness Day on April 2nd. This year marks the 17th annual World Autism Day. Now, World Autism Day was campaign that came from Autism Speaks. They took that to the UN. That's why there is a World Autism Awareness Day or month or whatever else. The one thing that Autism Speaks has done and has made a huge difference in the entire autistic community and the actually autistic community is autism awareness. People did not know what autism was when I was a kid. And now I think everybody knows has heard of autism. They don't know what it is, but they have heard of it. And of course, a lot of them have horrible misconception about autism because of Autism Speaks, but we'll get into that later. Throughout the month, we focus on sharing stories and providing opportunities to increase understanding and acceptance of people with autism. So we're speaking, this is a language we don't particularly like in general. The reason is that this separates the person from the autism, and I am autistic because of my brain. If you were to cure me, then you would have to put a different brain in here or make this brain different, so I would no longer be who I am. To help create a world in which autistic individuals are fully supported, championed, and celebrated, we must all work together to achieve true acceptance. Okay. We extend an invitation to all who share our vision and our journey towards a brighter, more inclusive future. Okay, this is Autism Speaks talk. Supporters can participate in World Autism Month in a variety of ways. Okay, so I think what they've done is, I think this is the writer stuff, and I think this is basically Autism Speaks. Yeah. So this is basically a pasted Autism Speaks thing. Or it looks like the font changes right here. And this is kind of Autism Speaks talk. Okay. That was a weird little thing, though. It was a weird little thing. Oh boy, this is Fox News.
But rely on my staff.
It's so mean girl high school.
Okay, I'm trying
Not
to figure out
cute.
what's going on. I don't know why this does not have a screen.
I know.
Okay, so this is Fox News. Let's see, it says because it says World Autism Awareness Day, Autism Speaks is directly tied to it, so it is actually literally fair that they should be associated with World Autism Awareness Day. Even though I hate and do not support that organization. But what we want to see is, has Autism Speaks been successful, and is it going to be about Autism Speaks, like Autism Speaks, their website? It's always about Autism Speaks. It's always comes back to Autism Speaks. It's never about autistic people. And where the heck was I? I got a tab I'm not even using here. Oh my goodness. Alright, here we are. Here we go. So, I'm curious of what this is. I don't know what all this is down here. I'm just gonna play this and see what happens.
Well, this Tuesday marks the 17th.
It mocks Autism Speaks.
Annual World Autism Awareness Day.
It mocks World Autism Awareness Day.
Arthel, this Tuesday marks the 17th Annual World Autism Awareness.
Oh.
Easter to both of you.
Okay, we're going to do it again.
With us now. Thank you for being here, guys.
No, we got it. We got to hear that again. Okay, this mocks Autism Speaks.
Arthel, this Tuesday marks the 17th Annual World Autism Awareness Day. It's meant to educate and inform people about autism spectrum disorder. Ms. Missouri 2023, Haley Leach, is working with her brother Matthew to raise awareness and try to tackle the stigma. Matthew was diagnosed with autism in...
Okay, stop. The stigma comes from Autism Speaks. Most of the stigma about autism literally does come from Autism Speaks. It is their advertisements that have gotten the fame, that have been so hurtful to autistic people, that characterize us as causing divorces and financial ruin and basically destroying people's lives. That was Autism Speaks that did that. So it is connected to Autism Speaks, of course. She's Miss Missouri, huh? Okay, so this is about okay, yeah, okay. But let's see how this is characterized. Is it going to be about autistic people, or is it going to be about Autism Speaks? So far, so good. It supposedly. Let's see what the subject is. It this Miss Missouri here, or what?
Autism spectrum disorder. Ms. Missouri 2023, Haley Leach, is working with her brother Matthew to raise awareness and try to.
So it's about this girl now.
Tackle the stigma. Matthew was diagnosed with autism in...
Now it's him.
2002. Now both of them are advocates for fostering support and proving that people with autism can thrive.
With autism, as if it's a disease. It's still being framed as a disease now. Until like March 31st, March 30th, Autism Speaks did not use the wording of identity first of autistic person or an autistic. It was always said person with autism. Now, they did change that in a lot of places on their site. Just recently, I think, probably due to...
We're delighted to have Haley and Matthew Leach with us now. Thank you for being here, guys. Happy Easter to both of you. And if I can start with you, Matthew, what would you like to deliver as a message to people as we approach World Autism Day for those who don't necessarily understand or have knowledge of autism?
Well, thank you for asking that, Jonathan.
What I really want people to understand about Autism Awareness Day and Month is it's a day of acceptance, of understanding, of the skills, the talents, and just the overall character of people that have autism. And I think this would be perfect for people who don't have a general understanding to have a better appreciation.
Okay, I gotta stop it right there. He said have autism. Now, sometimes I slipped into saying have autism because I keep on hearing these people. But I can tell you right now, because he said have autism, almost more than likely he's in the ABA crowd, the Autism Mom crowd, the Autism Speaks crowd. You can tell by the speech patterns. Like I said, if you know, golfers phrase things certain ways or whatever, and you can just tell if they're from the actually autistic community, or if they're from this very, very small community that is thought to be the autistic community.
For not just people on the spectrum, but for understanding people in general.
And Haley, I believe you're about 2.5 years older than Matthew. You've told our producers that you've always been fiercely protective of him. Explain to us a little bit about how that protective nature became a call to action for you.
Hope this doesn't get emphasizing.
Absolutely. I always like to say that I became an advocate 20 years ago when Matthew was first diagnosed. And as a little girl, that advocacy was talking to my peers about autism. And as I've grown older, I've not only been able to use my platform as Miss Missouri to travel the country and educate others on autism awareness, acceptance, and inclusion, but I'm also a second-year law student at Washington University in St. Louis, and I plan on being a lifelong advocate as I become a special education attorney one day.
And Matthew, how can people...
Now, see how that they panned with that Autism Speaks thing in the background? See, it's always associated with Autism Speaks, and that's a real shame. Because this makes people think that Autism Speaks represents the autistic community. And the entire reason Autism Speaks was born was for the extinction of autistic people, for genocide. Their commercials actively hurt the autistic community and characterize us as destroying communities, as destroying homes, destroying people's financial abilities, destroying marriages. They said that straight out. So they do not represent autistic people.
Generally in the community who aren't your incredible sister, how can they show support for those who are with autism?
Oh no, please don't.
Well, what I think people can do to get better understanding.
Okay, I'm cringing already. Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. Oops. Okay, come on.
Understanding and acceptance is look for information on the internet, attend events that are being sponsored for autism awareness, and just have a better general understanding for the condition, because I think having that and doing all those things would help bring better inclusivity.
Oh no! Oh, buddy! You were doing so great, and now you're sporting the Autism Speaks freaking shirt. Oh, come on, dude. Dude, you, were so close, man. I'm with you. Oh, you dropped the ball, man. Oh, that hurt me, guy. Oh.
For everyone.
And Haley, how do you see...
Oh, and there's just this with the thingy on her boob, the puzzle piece. Oh no!
Society as a whole progressing on this issue. Are we making progress? Is understanding becoming better?
I do believe so. As I travel the state of Missouri and I talk to elementary, middle, and high school students.
I really like the way both of these people are speaking. Actually, I really like they're not really they're really not infantilizing, not making too big of a deal of it either way. Just educating, is what it is. What it is.
And I asked them if they know what autism is. Oftentimes, children do have an understanding of autism, but I do think that we have more.
Although she is really a Miss America. She's stop smiling. I hope somebody reaches over and pinches her so she gives that little face for a moment. Then we could see the real pretty relaxed, pretty natural whatever she looks like, which is I'm sure just beautiful instead of. And she's got a pretty smile, don't get me wrong, but it's still looks a little
More ground to make as far as inclusive practices.
It's got the I came from the cults, okay, the fundamentalist cult, and it's got that Christian when you're with other Christian immigrant. Well, yes, Jesus has just done wonderful things for me and everything, and then you take off that Sunday jacket and I'm like, fuck, let's go have a beer. I shouldn't be making fun. I'm not making fun of her. She's probably a great lady, and she's obviously trying to do good things here.
It's not just in our schools.
She keeps on smiling.
But also in our communities and for employers as well. Those with autism have a wide variety of skills that can be utilized if we just look beyond stereotypes and misunderstandings.
And Haley, just tell me.
Oh my God, they got the same exact smile. Like you could cut and paste that. No.
Proud are you of Matthew?
Oh, I'm beyond proud of him. I'm probably the proudest big sister in the world. I would say I'm just so proud of everything that he has.
Okay, Guy, I saw that other picture, and that's what you're gonna look like in lipstick, buddy.
Accomplished, and I can't wait to see the amazing things he continues to do throughout his life.
And talking of amazing things, Matthew, as I understand it, you're currently a senior at the University of Kentucky, a biology major. You're planning on continuing to get a master's degree. I assume you would say your actions speak as loudly, if not more loudly, in your words in terms of sending a message to people.
I think you're right in that regard. I have come a long way, and I'm proud of both who I've become, and I'm also just grateful and happy that I had such wonderful people helping me become who I am.
Yeah, you've got to be pretty proud of your sister too.
She's my biggest supporter in this regard.
You guys are both absolutely incredible. We thank you so much for being with us today. We wish you both a very happy Easter, and please come back as a graduate and when you get that master's, Matthew. Great to see you.
So we did have those little images of Autism Speaks connected to autism as if it represents the autistic community. And you see that over and over and over and over. And the problem is this is a very small minority of people that aren't even autistic. This is what's crazy. This is token. Okay, this is token USA. I think there's a token Canada too. I think the CEO in Canada might be autistic, but this is token USA. There, as I understand it, there's 216 autistic people that work there right now. It could be different. And if you were to take 100 people, a random 100 people out of a crowd anywhere in the world, 1% of the population, probably, maybe more, is autistic. So out of 200 people, you're likely to have 2. Autism Speaks, to my knowledge, only has 1. So if you were to take a random sample of people, there would be more autistic people per capita than work at an organization called Autism Speaks. Anywhere in the world, you would have more autistic people than work at Autism Speaks. because she's the one in 216. Pretty crazy. All right, let's take a look and see. Autism Awareness Day is celebrated. And I bet you this takes us back to Autism Speaks. Bam! What? What? Okay, maybe this will take us back to Autism Speaks. No! Okay, oh, it takes us right back to this story that we were at. That's not smart. Okay, so we're just talking about, let's see, on April 2nd you can mark the occasion by spreading awareness, showing your support by wearing blue, which is associated with Autism Speaks. I'm surprised they don't have this. Researchers use artificial intelligence. Okay. What the? I don't understand why there is a story connected with... Okay, what is World Autism Day? This was a weird story that I was seeing. Holy help. This researcher used artificial intelligence to help diagnose autism, like, randomly in here. World Autism Day is a day focused on... Okay, see this? Autism Speaks right here. You know what? And that's their new slogan now. Isn't that their new slogan? Is it time to listen? Is that their slogan now? Let's see. I'm going to put... maybe I'm going to... Together we stand for a world of difference. Together we will succeed. Okay. That was... Okay, where was that? Okay. It's time to listen. Oh, it is so time to listen. You know, this is perfect. I need to look this up here and see. Autism. I wonder if we go to images. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. Okay, I need to make a video about this. Yes, Autism Speak. It's time to listen. It's time to listen to autistic people. That's what it's time for, Autism Speaks. Yeah, it's time to start listening to us. That's what time it is. Oh my goodness. All right, I need to take a quick break. We are going to do a very important thing here. All right.
Thinking we start cutting carbs. I need to drop my belly fat.
Great. Here for a moment.
If you want to drop this,
start eating more of these.
Starving our...
Okay, here he is. Let's welcome
right
Link
back.
Ray.
Ray. This song is called Rumble. All right. I just came back from a break. Thank you to Autism Speaks, my most faithful viewers. We're talking about Autism Speaks. I'm looking at world news here right now, where Autism Speaks is in the news and how the perspective of people has been twisted to believe that Autism Speaks is that they actually represent autistic people, and the misunderstanding of how Autism Speak is even perceived by the entire autistic community. So I'm just going to, this is WGN9 Chicago. Chicago's very own WGN9. I have no idea. I've never listened to it. So are we going to have is this a video that they're giving us, or no, they're giving us recipes? Maybe this is it right here. Yep, there it is. Let's see what they
in casino night featuring.
Now what we want to see is this story going to be focused on Autism Speaks, which is the way they want it and the way they always frame it, or is it going to be focused on autistic people? And when these people think about autism, do they think about Autism Speaks? And why? What's going on?
An open bar, a silent auction, casino-style table games, and sweet treats from Al's Cookie Mix.
What the?
Autism Speaks is celebrating its 8th annual Chip in Casino Night, featuring an open bar, a silent auction.
So yeah, so it starts out with Autism Speaks. Now let's see if this is about this entire thing, if it's about autistic people and how to help autistic people, or is it about Autism Speaks and how great they are?
Casino-style table games and sweet treats from Al's Cookie Mix.
Owner and chef Alvin Green joins us now, along with his son Aiden. And thank you both for coming in.
Thank you guys for having us.
We really love the fact that you have managed to create a passion of yours and marry it with a company that also helps another passion of yours, which is autism, because of your son.
Yes, Aiden.
Yeah, I bet you money. What happened was this dude's autistic. He's never been in a studio before, right? And check him out. They're like, okay, the camera's over there. Just look in the camera or whatever. So when they were like talking to him, he's like doing what they say, not realizing that he's supposed to be like looking into this conversation. So he looks really odd here because he's not prepared and doesn't understand what's going on here.
And marry it with a company that also helps.
And I might just as much do that or whatever, but this is what's happened
Another
here.
passion of yours, which is autism, because of your son.
Yes, Aiden.
And now, who are they talking to? Just saying, who are they talking to? And this is very, very common with interviews that you see if there's a family member or whatever. Whoever it is wants to talk to the dad, the sister, the brother, whatever, and not the autistic person because we're autistic. We're not smart enough for that or something. I think they have a very skewed misconception. Or a lot of times on these shows, they show very high support needs, autistics that need a lot of help, for anything and everything. And they may have intellectual disabilities too. And that's often when you have the more high support needs autistics, that it's more and more often that you have intellectual disabilities with that also.
Exactly.
Because a third of us do have intellectual disabilities.
Hi. Aiden is 20.
I do.
There's a saying among some of the parents in the autism and special needs community is what happens when the bus stops coming. Because most programs across the country, they age out at 22.
Okay.
And there's never enough opportunities or job employment options for kids past that. Like for autism, adults with autism, the unemployment rate is it's 85%.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that. I've heard numbers like that.
Unbelievable.
And so we were saying, especially for kids of color and kids in urban areas, there's never enough opportunities.
Hey, like, man, yeah, I was looking at the camera. Right? That's funny.
So my wife suggested during the COVID, she was like, let's regroup. And what are we going to do? She said, combine your two loves of baking cookies. I started baking cookies when I was 6 years old.
That's great.
And I just turned 57.
Because you were a catering company before, correct?
Yep. Years ago, we had a catering company, and we shut that down. And I became Aiden's primary caregiver, and we did some private chefs.
And so, this banner right here is saying, Autism Speaks to host 8th annual Chip-In. So just as I was saying, Autism Speaks is a subject here in this banner. At least you're talking about these people.
And so
now Aiden helps you with making cookies, which is what
But I don't.
he's going to do with us this morning.
Yeah.
So what
I don't like the way that they're talking to the dad.
exactly are you doing over there? What kind of cookie are you going to make first?
we're
of all?
going to make a classic chocolate chip cookie.
Now maybe this dude's mute. Or maybe he's like me. He's gonna stutter too much or something. Get nervous. Oh, how rude of me! Like my head's all blocking him there. Yeah, like maybe this dude just like there's no telling. But it's really common to see this where they're talking to the family member and not really acknowledging the autistic person, and that's exactly what Autism Speaks does on their website. They do not qualify us as knowing anything. They don't recognize us as generational experts.
Okay.
And with butter, and I like to use European style butter. Has a high fat content. Eden doesn't normally like to bake. Typically tonight, now you can whisk it up for me, okay?
Okay.
This is our all-purpose unbleached flour. All right, buddy. It got you. Use your fingers. All right, good job, bud. All right, and now you can whisk it up for me, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
And you were saying that the great thing that people can do at home is the more cookies they order, the more people you can employ.
Yes, our tagline is your enjoyment provides employment. And we say the more cookies we sell, the more kids we can employ.
How nice.
And it's not just autism. We have kids with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, processing issues, any special need we provide.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like Downs people. I don't like them Down people at all. They're like way too freaking cool. Like way too happy. Oh my! I look like such an asshole compared to Downs people. No, I do not like. No, They're like they're the wingman you don't want. Okay.
Employment.
That is wonderful.
And so,
Can you tell us more about the event? So we know your cookies are going to be there. What else takes place at the event?
It is a Chip-In Casino night. It's April 27th, 6 p.m. at City Hall event.
I love it. Out the chip.
Here we go.
To be
Okay. See, we got this big banner here with Autism Speaks, and they're throwing in Al's cookies or whatever. But see, Autism Speaks is once again automatically tied into this. It really is getting old too. Behavioral analyst speaks on autism awareness. Doesn't say anything. I'm going to take a quick leap. Okay, we're gonna just see what this is and see how it's characterized. I just want to see what the tone is here.
About being a glasses wearer, which is looking the same every day. It's no fun.
Should pop on here in a second. I think this is their ad.
The White House has proclaimed today as World Autism Acceptance Day in conjunction with National Autism Acceptance Month. The goal is to highlight the importance of ensuring equal rights for the millions of people who are on the autism spectrum. Joining me tonight is Adrian Bradley.
And we don't actually we have less than dogs' rights in some cases. Far less than dogs in some cases.
A board-certified behavior analyst at Centria.
Okay, so she's ABA. She is ABA, so she's on the autism mom side. This woman, okay, first of all, she's not autistic. So they're not interviewing an autistic person. Oh, boy. They're not interviewing an autistic person. She's going to speak instead or for us. And she is going to be involved with the the Autism Speaks crowd, but she's an ABA person. She's going to go into therapy and how much they can help kids and so forth. And she's going to really sell ABA and how great it is. And she's not going to mention the fact that ABA causes PTSD. And most of over 50%, like 60 I've heard 60 and way above that percent of autistic people that it causes PTSD in. She's not going to mention that. She's not going to mention that ABA and Autism Speaks are cults.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So it seems like
she's not going to mention that the autistic community has any problems with ABA or Autism Speaks.
we've come a long way in recent decades, at least, when it comes to just awareness of the spectrum disorder. But for those who don't know, let's just start with the basics. Can you define what is autism spectrum disorder?
Yeah, autism affects individuals differently. We were looking at difficulties with communication, whether that's vocal, non-vocal.
You know, the thing is there's plenty of people just like us, just like me, that are autistic that could be doing this interview.
Difficulties with social interactions, a lot of self-stimulatory behaviors. It's really a neurodevelopmental disorder that can affect a variety of different things on the day-to-day for kids or teenagers or adults on the spectrum. And it's not one size fit all. It's different for you, it's different for me, in a variety of different areas on the day-to-day and the things that we do.
And very much a spectrum. It seems that, you know, sometimes it might be a very different behavior. You might notice something very different in someone who is still on the spectrum.
Okay, so she just dropped the word behavior. So that's very interesting because that's an ABA word.
Right?
Yes, yes. It all depends on the level of supports that that individual needs. If there are kids who might be 3, 4, 5, who might be non-vocal and need assistant devices to communicate, or kids...
Wow, I'm surprised she put it into terms of support needs. That is so cool. I'm surprised she didn't say something about high functioning or something, or severe autism or something. No, actually they don't throw down severe autism very much, not ABA therapists.
Who really are unable to or have difficulties emotionally regulating, and it may cause a lot of tantrum behaviors.
I was just going to pause it to say she's going to start talking about behaviors. Because they're artistic kids, they misbehaving. They're misbehaving, they got behaviors. No. When we have sensitivities, if the light's too bright, we're going to do this. That's not me acting up. If I need to self-regulate, if my brain's just getting too racy and I need to do this so my brain works better, that's not acting up. But that's what she forces children to stop doing, and it's hurtful to us. But we're moving right along. See that little puzzle piece, by the way? That is associated directly with Autism Speaks. So is this blue shirt.
That might be easier for us on the day-to-day, but affects them a little bit more differently. And then a lot of self-stimulatory
Now, what
behaviors.
happened is this company, whatever it's called, this is their emblem, and they just took a puzzle piece, added some more, and of course it's blue because that's associated with autism, because of Autism Speaks, blue puzzle piece.
With sensory needs and all of those things.
How important is it to have an awareness day and an awareness month to really just be able to talk about this openly?
Very important, and I think it also leans into the acceptance. The CDC recently came out that 1 in 36 kids will be diagnosed with ASD, and acceptance out in the society and out in the community of knowing that this larger community needs supports and that they are here and that the families and the parents need supports as well.
Yeah, it seems like there have been a number of instances in public, pop culture, where adults are finding out that they've been on the spectrum all along and they're only learning that in adulthood. Is that common?
More and more common. I think that more access to diagnostic availability, more acceptance and awareness of
This guy's actually doing really well for an ABA therapist. I'm pretty impressed with her for an ABA therapist.
Of the characteristics of autism, and then kind of self-identifying, like, I struggled with this, I really struggled with that, and then being able to go to that psychologist or a doctor to get that official diagnosis. I think adults are more curious.
Oh, okay, really? Okay, this guy may be autistic, but he's probably CP something else. And I hate it when they do this. They always have to get that autistic look or whatever, that freeze face when or that freeze frame when you're editing. It's like, you know, we could probably get one here, or I did there.
Well, whether we're talking about a child.
But whatever this guy is, he may be autistic, but there's something else going on here, okay? But they want that to look autistic.
Or an adult, how important is it to go and get an accurate diagnosis?
Very important. Without that diagnosis.
That's what these producers are trying to project, that this is what autism looks like.
Diagnosis, access to services or different treatments may not be available. And I think that the more...
And it doesn't look like, it can look like that, but it doesn't always look like that. It could look like anything. It looks like any human being. It's a brain. It's not this. It's not the shell, it's the brain. So, autism looks like brains.
The more acceptance and awareness that we have, especially to diagnostics, the more improvements that these families and children can have and supports that need to be put into place.
Yeah, let's talk about those supports.
Okay, they're probably going to start putting something up about Autism Speaks, whether they're talking about it or not.
What kind of services or treatments are out there?
A lot of different things, and what we do.
ABA, bam, thrown down. She may not even mention Autism Speaks, but she's going to throw down ABA, bam, and she's going to say that is the evidence-based. She was probably going to say evidence-based, which means that we know brainwashing works. Let's see what happens.
Is called applied behavior analysis, and we can work on a variety of different things that fall under the...
I can just, I can always call these.
There's speech, there's OT, social workers, different types of resources. Applied behavior analysis is the #1 most recommended and effective treatment for autism spectrum disorder.
This is all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It does not treat autism at all. What it does is it forces autistic children to look and act like neurotypical people. In other words, if we need to flap to help our brain work better, it teaches us not to, so that we can't think straight, so that we are hurt. But to everybody around, it looks like we're doing great. It is brainwashing. It is mind control. And it is hurtful to autistic people. And Autism Speaks actively promotes ABA.
And it makes our day fun every single day. It's no different, and working with a lot of families to improve those skill sets with
Because it always is ABA. ABA is God. No matter what, we always attribute the hits to God or to ABA. Whenever something works out, whenever something improves, it's always ABA. But if something goes wrong, it's not ABA's fault ever. It's never God's fault. It's that devil's fault, is what it is. It's them behaviors because that child's acting up because he's an asshole.
kids with those teenagers.
Now, we've read that autism is more common in boys, but there are also a lot of reports, even recently, that it's often overlooked or maybe even misdiagnosed in girls. Why might that be?
More women and girls have more less obvious symptoms and characteristics, and where more boys.
See, characterize it as symptoms, traits, characteristics. That's how it should be worded. Oh, by the way, I would like to, of course, thank you, Autism Speaks, my most favorite viewer. Moving
Seem to
right
be more
along.
overt and out there with their characteristics. Women and girls tend to be a little bit more quieter, and we can kind of make shift and move differently, problem solve a little bit differently, and so the characteristics and the symptoms may not be so overt and obvious to the common eye until you go and get that diagnosis.
Is there a way, if somebody's wondering whether they themselves are on the spectrum or if a loved one is there a way to, without fully going to a doctor, trying to get a diagnosis, to kind of start to figure out whether this might be something you should look into?
Research. There are many different research articles, many different blogs out there about their experiences. The power of social media, also being able to just hear other people's stories and then
Wow, I am really surprised. This is cool.
to be able to relate to yourself. Official diagnosis, of course, can only go through that psychologist for that. But of course, just being curious, utilizing Google and things like that can definitely help to start identify what does this mean for myself if I'm thinking X, Y, and Z. But always being able to.
Okay, we got puzzle pieces. Those are directly associated to Autism Speaks, but we haven't thrown down the Autism Speaks thing yet.
To go and talk with a professional is the #1 recommendation.
Although we do have a puzzle, another puzzle piece here in the blue.
Yeah, it could be a scary time, especially for parents, not knowing what it could entail, or if there may be a diagnosis. Diagnosis is a scary word.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give to someone who's in that position?
Take it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, and 1 moment at a time, and know that there are people.
You know what? Don't fucking worry about it. It's a human being. All right? And I mean, be concerned about your child and help them do like you would any other kid. But it's just a kid. It's just a fucking kid, people.
And community out there to support you and to answer your questions, and we do that at Centria.
All right, and if anyone wants to check out Centria and wants any more information, where should they go?
Our website, centriahealthcare.com, social media, centriahealthcare.com, and we are more than welcome to have you guys.
All right, well, Adrienne, thank you so much for coming by today. This is
Thank
Adrienne
you.
Bradley, board-certified behavior analyst at Centria. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's an amazing. That's the second one now. The second one in a... Not in a row. It's the second one. Okay, what's going on here? Let me go back.
We're not meant to...
No, we don't want underwear commercials. We're not trying to scroll back through your...
Users.
Okay, I don't know how we got there. Okay. Okay, what is going on here? I did not want... Google, I did not tell you to do that. Or I didn't want you to. Okay. Thank you. Okay, no, we're gonna go to today, maybe. All right. No, no, no se habla español. Why'd they have to do that? No se habla español. How am I supposed to read that? I have to have a translator. This is weird. It's like Autism Speaks news past 24 hours, and I'm getting these weird messages. Okay, I'm gonna see if this is. Ah, of course. Oh. Oh, yes. Okay, so I was avoiding this one, and I kept on skipping over it because in the where it was first written, I did not see anything that said anything about Autism Speaks, but here we have it. This is now what we want to do is we want to frame this and see where the perspective is coming from. Is this about Autism Speaks, or is this about autistic people? In April, in recognition of World Autism Month, with its history of standing alongside the autism community, which it does not. That is so wrong. History of demonizing the autistic community and hurting the autistic community. And I can prove it with their own stuff, but yeah. Autism Speaks, and so the subject here is Autism Speaks. So this is going to be an extremely biased thing towards Autism Speaks. Now, Act Fearlessly campaign, encourage public to sign his pledge stories, advocate for the legislation. Now, this legislation is so that they create laws and so forth. So there's grants and so forth that are written in such a way that only Autism Speaks is eligible. That's the end goal. Now, that's not official or anything else, but that's what they want. And then they want that to go to science research because their very basis is genocide. Now, they say that they do not, that they do not want to cure autism, but they cannot stop doing the genetic research. I sure would like to know why. Okay. Since I've got 67 people watching right now, I'm going to look at my ticker talk. I don't got very many ticker talks going on there right now. Oh, no ticker talks happening. No ticker talks happening. All right. Okay, I am going to go get something to eat, so I am going to pop off of here for a little bit.